How's it going, YouTube? This is Wake Run Collapse, and today we're going to be comparing Japanese and Korean Pokemon cards. I will not be doing a comparison video for English and Korean Pokemon cards because I am not terribly well versed in either of them, and I don't want to pass myself off as an expert. I am a Japanese expert, and I'm learning about Korean and English Pokemon cards, but I will not pursue collecting them, therefore you will not see that video. If you have anything you want to share with regards to this video, the points made, or would like to make some additional points, feel free to drop into the comment section below and share your thoughts. So the first thing is I'm going to be showing again a Japanese booster box of Awakening of the Psychic King. Here's your size right there. 20 booster packs inside of one of these boxes, 5 cards in each pack. You usually can get one for about $25 to $30 shipped. It's about $25 if you're buying in multiples, and sometimes as high as $30 for buying it individually, depending on where you go. In comparison, there's the size of a Korean booster box. Korean booster boxes also have 5 cards per pack, but they've got 30 packs in all, and the size of them is definitely different. The layout of the box is different too. And you can usually get one for approximately $20. Sometimes it varies a little bit. It can be a little bit higher when it's first released, but generally $20 is the accepted price for a Korean booster box. Which again, just like in the English versus Korean, not English versus Korean, English versus Japanese Pokemon cards video, it poses some of the same positives and negatives to collecting. You do get more cards. You simply get more cards out of a Korean booster box. You get 150 versus the standard 100 from a Japanese box, and you pay less for them, which is also worth noting. If you like getting a large amount of cards, having a large amount of packs to open up, this is the approximate amount of commons and uncommons that you will get in a Korean booster box. It's pretty significant. For $20 to get that many cards plus whatever your pull ratios are, that could be pretty nice for someone who's opening their first booster boxes or just wants to collect on a budget. However, if you are a serious collector, you will simply find yourself overrun by commons and uncommons that you don't need, which is exactly the same problem that happens if you collect English. You get just a huge amount of bulk that you're never going to be able to get rid of unless you're selling them for 2 or 4 or 5 cents a piece. It's simply not going to be worthwhile. You also, just like Japanese booster boxes, don't get code cards inside your packs, and you don't get reverse holos inside of your packs, so that aligns it a little closer to Japanese cards. However, another big difference, unfortunately, for Korean booster boxes is that the pull rates are down significantly in comparison to Japanese. Out of my 30 packs of my Korean X and Y10 booster box, I pulled the following cards. Got ourselves holographics of Zygarde, Tyranitar, and Lucario. I also got an Omastar Break, an Altaria EX, and a Kingdra EX. If you're keeping track at home, that's 6 out of 30 had holographic cards or better, which is a 1 in 5 pull ratio. That's worse than English, which I think English is now just a little bit better than 1 in 3. The average booster box gives off maybe 13 or 14 holos or better, so that's a little bit better than 1 in 3. But Korean booster boxes seem to be 1 in 5. And as is well documented on this channel, Japanese is 1 in 2. Every other pack is going to have a holo or better. So the pull rates from my Japanese Awakening of the Psychic King booster box, I got holos of Delphox, White Kyurem, Mew, Zygarde, Tyranitar, and Lugia. Also got the Lugia Break, Altaria EX and Umbreon EX, as well as an Alakazam EX full art, which I've already sold. You can definitely check on my channel to find that I did actually pull that in that video. I'm not going to bark too much about the difference in full art pull ratios because it's really only about 50% in a Japanese booster box. And I know that they exist for Korean, as we'll prove in a moment, but I did not get one out of mine. I would imagine that the pull ratios are approximately the same, where you get a full art once in every other box for both Korean and Japanese. But now we're going to actually compare the quality of the cards, and for that we're going to need a representative from each. So first we're going to compare holographic cards. I'm going to select this Zygarde. In Korean, we're going to slowly slip it out of its sleeve. Something worth noting if you are a KMC sleeve user, the Korean cards tend to not fit in quite as nicely. It's a slightly snugger fit. so it can be difficult to get them back out. So there's your Holo Effect. Got that yellow border, of course, and the Holo Effect seems to go all the way across the card, which I think is pretty cool. It's not particularly bright or sharp, but it looks nice. So we'll sleeve it back up. Oh, and to show the back of the card, it's the standard English backing. It's actually a little bit lighter, very slightly lighter than an English card. So now we're going to go in here, and we're going to pull the same Zygarde out of here. Yes. So while the middle of the card right there where the attack description is not holographic, the border, which is not yellow at all, thank goodness, is holographic, and the card is as well, and it is a bit brighter as well. And there's your regular backing. So we're going to sleeve him back up. Japanese cards are known for being extremely well cut and on a really good stock. Korean cards are not bad. I will say that they're not bad. They are closer to English than Japanese, but their corners tend to be fairly decent. There's not like a ton of edge wear, at least not from the box that I had, which is cool and important to note. So now we're going to compare break cards and EXs between the two. I do not have an Omastar break out, so we're just going to use the Lugia break. So here's your Korean Omastar break. You'll notice very few differences aside from the inability to read it properly from an English break card. It looks pretty decent. Holo Effect is honestly not very different on break cards across languages. We'll prove in a moment. Again, I do prefer the silver border. Here's your Japanese Lugia break. But aside from that, there's really not much of a difference. Break cards are break cards, as it turns out. Now we're going to compare the EXs. Got to make sure these go right back into the correct spots. Here's your Korean first. P.S. If you're curious, you can tell the languages apart. It's just a different style of writing for Korean cards. You get used to it eventually. You tend to see a lot more, it's almost like a grid style writing in Korean. You'll be able to notice more straight lines instead of curved lines that don't go north to south or east to west. And there's a lot more circular patterns in Korean, as you can see with the writing there. And that writing does not obviously exist in Japanese. But honestly, the EX card quality here is pretty good. They look fine. We'll show a Japanese Altaria EX right here, so you can make the direct comparison. Again, the holographic pattern is a little bit different for Japanese EXs, but they've been that way for a while. I do prefer them, but it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They do a good job with the Korean EXs. Now, while I did not pull a full art from my Korean booster box, yesterday I happened to receive a Korean Seismitoad-Ex full art from Rising Fist, or the Korean version of Rising Fist, whatever you'd call it. And I received this by accident, because I was purchasing a Japanese lot from somebody, and half the cards came in Korean. Hooray! So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. I'm probably going to sell them anyways, because I'm willing to bet I can make a profit on it. But the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show this Japanese Seismitoad-Ex full art, which I pulled out of my sale binder. This is the kind of card that you're used to seeing on a channel like this. Really nicely textured, great holographic pattern all the way across. Honestly, about as high quality of a card as you're going to get. Really, really excellent work done on this card. Now, I will put a disclaimer before I show the Korean full art that they may have improved on their card quality in this time, because it's been a couple of years since Rising Fist came out. Almost exactly 2 years, actually. So that's certainly an opportunity for them to have improved on their card quality, as English cards have improved on their quality in the last couple of years as well. But here's a Korean full art. Exactly the same image, different writing. What a difference between languages. Very little done for this card at all, to be honest. It's just like a high quality picture. There's no cool holographic pattern whatsoever. It doesn't have quite the fine detail that it does in a Japanese card. And on the surface, they look so very similar. I'm just going to sleeve it back up, but on the surface, when you at first glance, they look so similar. They look so similar, and then you really get down to the details. I mean, you can even see that fine pattern through the sleeve on the Japanese card, and it's just not there with the Korean card. Had I pulled a full art, I probably would have been disappointed with the quality right off the bat, which is important to note. But yeah, there's your difference between Japanese and Korean Pokemon cards. If there are any experienced Korean collectors in the comment section, I would love for you to share your thoughts and opinions. I want this video to be as informative as possible, and I only have the information that I have available to me through what I've collected in the few booster box openings that I've seen in Korean. So I'd like this to be a little hub for someone who's maybe collecting one language of cards and is curious about the other, to help them make a decision about what's going to be best for them. Obviously, you have positives for Korean cards where the boxes are cheaper and you get more cards, but the Japanese card quality is better, and generally the pull ratio is better, if not just as good for your money, better just because of what is going to be made available to you instead of all the extra bulk that you'd be getting. And of course, the card quality is undeniable. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing, because I do Japanese openings and collection videos basically every day. I'm working on being more consistent and uploading every single day, and I've done well the past few weeks to upload every day, and I want to keep that going. As well, we have X and Y 11, which is a double set in Japanese, meaning 40 booster boxes in the last couple of weeks of June, or maybe even the beginning of July, depending on how quickly I can open them. So that's something to look forward to as well. I'm going to shut up now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.